Hey, everybody. Welcome to week 8 of our 10-part Unbreakable podcast series. I'm Angie Kitko.
I'm Mike Kitko.
And today we're here to talk about probably one of the most fun but most irritating topics of this whole series, in my opinion.
I think last week was the most fun. This one is the most frustrating.
Triggering almost. It's almost like it pokes at, I know it pokes at my personal wounds.
Yeah, for sure.
And
It's an unconscious human tendency.
Yeah.
And once you understand that it's there, you get to manage it. But we don't want to admit that we're causing a lot of the things that we're causing.
So today we're talking about self-sabotage.
There you go.
And I think that's one of those, we talk about the layers of onions, and we're constantly going through life, peeling through these layers. And I think this is one that we're probably going to be fighting with for the rest of our lives. Just a side note before we actually start, for those of you that follow us on social media, you know our pets are our life. We're empty nesters, and we have 2 dogs, 2 cats, and a grand cat. Our daughter's cat lives with us right now. And when we record these episodes, we keep them upstairs and we make sure they're not down here to disturb us. Well, today we had a hostage get herself stuck down here, our cat Angie, and she's my little shadow. So I'm a little concerned that she might be a nuisance in this episode. Yeah. So if you hear squeaking or rustling, that's just Andy, and we'll deal with her when we're done.
Yeah, we hear the little bell back there, but you might not be able to hear it here, but we can. She's but sometimes she just gets right in front of Angie and just goes.
She doesn't meow like a cat.
No.
She just has this really high-pitched
squeal.
And we were laughing pretty hard right before this because we were trying to get her upstairs, and she was just not having it.
Just wouldn't work. So a little bit of self-sabotage. We're getting ready to record. Yeah. I don't know. But look, this is I alluded to the fact that this is one that people don't want to see. When human beings create a lot of our own challenges and our own obstacles. And this requires us to understand that self-sabotage is a nervous system condition. And I teach and I express and explain a lot and train a lot about the nervous system. And I teach, at the beginning of this podcast series, we talked about this, and Angie got it wrong, but that's okay. Hopefully she'll learn from all of that. But there's 3 things that, to understand the workings of the nervous system and to understand the unconscious and the living a life of reaction according to the nervous system requires you understand 3 things and really surrender to them. Number 1 is the nervous system has one job and one job only. And what is it?
To keep you alive.
Keep you alive. So it took a little bit of not getting it right in order to get it right. Oftentimes people say to keep you safe, and that is not true, because if the nervous system, let's advance it. It keeps you alive by
keeping you safe.
No.
Keeping you in familiar.
Not safe. Keeping you alive by, come on.
Oh my gosh. I didn't.
That's okay. I say this. I say this thing
30 times. No, 30 times a day.
30 times a day, because it's so critical and so important. The nervous system has one job and one job only, and that's to keep you alive. It keeps you alive by keeping you trying to keep you in familiar circumstances. You didn't. You said safe.
Okay. To me, yeah.
It has nothing to do with safety. Right. None of this has anything to do with safety. Right. It has one job, to keep you alive, and it keeps you alive by keeping you in familiar circumstances, and it keeps you in familiar circumstances because it knows how to keep you alive there. And in unfamiliar circumstances, it can't guarantee in your mind, and it's the way it's operated, the way it operates and the way it's built, designed. Your nervous system can't guarantee your survival there. And why that differentiation between safety is because if you are familiar with unsafe conditions and circumstances, it will keep you there. Mm-hmm. It will look to keep you in unsafe conditions and unsafe circumstances, because up to this point, you've operated there and you've maintained, it's helped you maintain your life. So in situations that aren't unsafe, it doesn't know how to operate because it's unfamiliar. And you can see this when someone goes from toxic relationship or abusive relationship to abusive relationship to abusive relationship. These are unsafe relationships, but the operating system or the nervous system knows how to operate there. That's why getting that safety thing out of that mix is so critical. Your nervous system doesn't care to keep you safe. If your nervous system is familiar and it knows how to operate in poverty, wealth will feel threatening. And even though poverty might be unsafe, it'll try to get you back to poverty because it knows how to keep you alive there. It's familiar with that and it knows how to operate there. Even though there's more safety with wealth, it doesn't understand, it's unfamiliar, and it doesn't know how to, for you to maintain your life. That's a really, really important distinction because this feeds right into self-sabotage. And I'm holding up a book. If you're watching this on video, you see it. The book is called The Big Leap by Dr. Gay Hendricks. And this is the book that I recommend the most to my students, to our students, to people that I come in contact with that are suffering from and I guess unaware of the power of self-sabotage. It's in this book and it explains it that when things get too good, we fuck it up. Why do we fuck it up?
To go back to where we were, to where the nervous system thinks that where it knows how to operate, where it knows how to keep us.
Absolutely. So if you're used to relationships where you are constantly being attacked and constantly being threatened and constantly being manipulated, when you maybe leave that partner and experience a relationship where it doesn't have any of that, what's going to happen?
You're going to fuck it up.
Why?
Because your nervous system is trying to get you back to where it knows how to operate.
Because it doesn't know how to operate in that. So when someone is addicted, when the nervous system is mired in and bathed in and surrounded by chaos, when you experience peace, it'll feel dangerous and your nervous system will start to revolt. Isn't that crazy?
It's stupid.
It is stupid. But can you maybe talk about how this has shown up in your lives or our lives or?
Oh, I can probably name off a dozen ways it's shown up in our lives, starting back years ago, 23, 24 years ago. Well, no, shit. I can go back further than that. I can go back to the first couple months we were together. And this was and again, it was toxic in the beginning, but not nearly as toxic as my last relationship. Sure. So there was a level of normalness to our relationship that I hadn't experienced. And I mean, just the first couple of months we were together, I freaked out and wouldn't leave the house for over a week. We were getting close to the anniversary of my mother's death. And I was just convinced that you were going to just leave me. I mean, constantly. That was the whole, we bought our first house. My name wasn't on it because I had no credit at the time. And I was like, it's all yours. You're just going to take it all and leave me. And we kept trying to set, the normal relationship was there, but it wasn't there, but it was better than the previous. But my body kept just trying to convince itself that this is all going to end.
Back then, did you have, and I'm talking about from the beginning until we bought the house, did I show any signs of ejecting?
No, not at all.
When we got pregnant and she called me at work and said, "Hey, you need to come home from work. I got something to tell you." And she told me she was pregnant. What did I do?
You said, "Let's go.
Let's fucking go." I was like all in. Yep. So what you're saying is from the time we met until then, I had shown no indications of ejecting or abandoning you or leaving you or pulling the plug.
No, not at all.
But you constantly felt that.
Yes.
Why?
Because my nervous system did not know how to operate there.
Because that was your old relationship,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Threats,
Yep.
right? Always threats of pulling the plug or taking away, you know, because your former fiance was very wealthy.
Yeah.
So always pulling the plug of resources and always taking away your whatever, you know, your means of survival and always abandoning you. That's what you were used to in that relationship. And you pretty much grew up with that was your only real relationship. So that was your nervous system for a long time from what, 15, 14 until 21, 7 years. So your nervous system was built over 7 years for that to be the default state. That was just a baseline state. So your nervous system was wired for that. It knew how to operate that in that. But in the absence of those threats, in the absence of that kind of manipulation, in the absence of that toxicity, you didn't know what to do, and you just kept expecting it. And then what you would do is you would lash out at me like I was going to do it, even though I was like, no, you don't understand. That's not. So would you think that was self-sabotage?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah, absolutely. And the hard part of this, and this is the part that's when we don't understand self-sabotage, is because after a while where Angie, now this is a good story to tell, after a while of Angie expecting me to eject and Angie expecting me to eject, after a couple of years, I was like, well, fuck it. I might as well pull the plug on this, because if this is all I'm going to live with for the rest of my life, then I have no intentions of ejecting, what the fuck am I doing? And it was like, that's when things really got heated. And I was like, fuck, I guess we'll do what you say. And then when I started like agreeing with you, you're like, see, I told you so. And that was that self-sabotage, and that as Dr. Gay Hendricks calls it, upper limiting. As that upper limiting happens, and it starts to create the other person's nervous system too, right? So now that's when the toxicity really solidified. Did you mean to do any of that?
No, not at all.
Did you think you were doing anything that at that level of unconscious?
No.
This is the thing. This is why some people don't want to accept that in a lot of cases we create our own struggles and our own challenges. Angie never, ever wanted to create any hardship. She just didn't know how not to. And she didn't understand that her nervous system was calling the shots, and she was a slave and a victim to her nervous system. She wasn't a bad person. She was really dysregulated in the nervous system. And that kind of spiraled into a lot of mental health issues as well.
Yeah, it did. Because I think probably the second biggest one that happened was, to me, financial security was always that six figures mark, right? And I remember as soon as you hit six figures, I feel like that's where my mental health really started spiraling, and slowly at first, and then just blew up as the years went on.
Yeah, and it just. Again, it was the unconscious, not understanding what was happening, not seeing it clearly. Just it reinforces the stories and the situations that your nervous system, the alarms that the nervous system's throwing up. You don't mean to, you don't want to, you're not intentional with this stuff. It's very unconscious and it's very under the radar. And if you're not aware of it, it will run your life and it'll run you into the ground. And that's why self-sabotage is so critical and so important. So I'm gonna tell a story about my experience. I, not we at that point, it wasn't we. I started this business, and the first full year, I got out of the chute in 2017, and I spent about a half year, and I made a little bit of money, $36,000, I think, something like that. So that wasn't even close to what we were making in corporate, but there was some signs that, this thing was picking up steam. So it was good. 2017 ended on a good note. And 2018, I surpassed any income that I had in corporate America. The clients kept coming and the growth kept happening. And like the coaching months, the sales kept getting more and more. And I was starting to get used to 10 and 15K months, right? Somewhere around there, 10 and 15K months. And in October of 2018, I had a $44,000 month. Now, I had never made $44,000 in a month before, even in corporate. I got a nice bonus one time. Let me take that back. I got a nice bonus one time that was around that number, but I never had a salary number of 40,000. And whatever happened, my self-worth, my self-esteem, my ego just inflated. It just blew up. And I became this arrogant, raging asshole who thought I was like Tony Robbins. You would have thought I was fucking God's gift to the coaching world. And there were a couple coaches that, I was working out of a co-working space in Overland, Missouri. And there were about 4 or 5 of us that were kind of in a coaching program together. Not really a program, but just kind of learning together and kind of, trying to figure this out and sharing hints and tricks. And they were getting nowhere with their business. But I had this $44,000 month, and I thought they were the biggest pieces of shit in the world, that if I can figure out, you're stupid. And I started I went from this loving Buddha monk to this raging asshole like that.
Well, something else happened too.
And I came home and I started like tearing shit down with her.
Yeah, and your back went out.
My back went out.
Your back
and
went out.
My back went out. And Dr. Gay Hendricks, I keep holding up this book, but in the big lead, Dr. Gay Hendricks says it's not just that if it'll trip your financial switch or it'll trip your relationship switch. It's not like happiness in a relationship will trip your relationship switch, or happiness in finances, wealth in finances will trip your financial switch. It says happiness in your relationship will trip your financial switch, and happiness in your finances and wealth in your finances will trip your health, right? And you'll fuck your health up. It's like these are all interrelated. As we have a capacity for love, joy, wealth, right? Fulfillment. And if we trip that switch, if we trip that level, if we exceed that capacity, we will find a way to get back within that capacity, the familiar container of our nervous system, because that's where our nervous system knows how to operate. So my back went out, and I started getting in arguments with my wife, and I started alienating all those coaches and like separating myself and judging them.
He started making shitty posts on Facebook.
It went awful. And you would have thought I was God's gift to the coaching world. And then I went from that $44,000 month down to a $5,000 month. And the next 6 or 8 months were all $5,000 months. And it's like I had to get really, really clear about what had happened. Is that my identity became my success became my identity. And that took over my nervous system, and it tripped a switch. Too much goodness in my life, and I had to make it all go away. Isn't this shit crazy?
It's stupid. I'm telling you, it's just stupid. It's just stupid.
It is.
Mike is a man of a lot of words. I am, unless I'm talking about my pets or music, I'm not, but this is just stupid. Yeah. And that wasn't the first time that happened, and it won't be the last.
Nope.
We just did it again a couple of years ago.
Well, we went from having, in our coaching business, so not in our overall wealth, we have resources, but in our coaching business, we went from having enough to live a good life.
Yep.
And our sales increased.
Yep.
And when our sales increased, and I mean, they increased exponentially.
Yes.
When they increased exponentially, what did we do?
We spent it all. We decided we upgraded our life. We upgraded our lifestyle. We spent more money. We started traveling all the time.
Did we upgrade our life a little bit?
A lot of it.
A lot of it. What does that mean? How many times did we travel in those 2 years of heavy financial flow income? How many times per year did we travel?
Probably about 15-ish, I would say. 15 to 16-ish. Sometimes we were, I know last January, between January and February, we were in New York City, New Orleans, and Turks and Caicos within like just a time
Couple
period of
weeks.
5 weeks.
Yeah. And last year in 2025, and this is before, our business started contracting and compressing somewhere around, I want to say May or June-ish. That's when it really started to contract.
Yeah.
So we had already had some things planned throughout the year. And last year we went to Cancun twice. We went to Cabo, and we went to the Turks. We we traveled all over. So would you say that we upper limited by like just getting rid of everything that we were making?
Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah,
certainly.
So was our nervous system built to hold that level of wealth?
Yeah, I guess it wasn't built to hold it because it definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So that's
Would you say we went from underindulging to indulging, or underindulging to overindulging?
I think we went from indulging to overindulging. I don't think
Yeah,
I don't ever
point.
think we were.
That's a good point.
We lived a good life. We've never underindulged. We've always gone out to eat. We've always spent money. We've always bought the things that we wanted at the time. We've had nice car. We've always made sure our kids have nice cars. We have nice cars. I don't think we've ever lived a life of underindulging.
But instead of traveling 2 to 3 times a year like we were, to go to 15 to 20, you think that's a little bit overindulging?
Certainly, but it was from indulging to overindulging.
Yeah, I would say we live a high quality life.
Yeah.
Even at the baseline.
Yes.
And then when we had 2 years of that and we throttled up, and that was overindulging. So a little bit of financial sabotage. And I want to, there's 2 things. Okay. There's a nervous system built to have it, and there's a nervous system built to hold it. Do we have the nervous system built? Do we have nervous systems built to have?
Yes.
Do we have right now, with evidence, did we have nervous systems built to hold it?
No.
No, not at all. So when we didn't have nervous systems built to hold it, what do we need to do? Get rid of it.
Oh yeah.
You already answered the question.
Yeah.
I was just asking it again. Our nervous system wasn't built to hold it.
Right.
It was built to have it. But then as soon as we had it, we had to get rid of it because we couldn't hold it. Okay. And now in late 2025, over last 12 months, we're back at where we were before, right? Yeah. And now we've kind of shut down travel, and we've shut down some of the indulging, because we're just like, if the baseline feels a lot different. The baseline now feels a lot different than the baseline before, because there's this comparison to the 24 and 25 that were overindulgent.
Yes.
And now we're like feeling like there's a sense of lack because we're not able to overindulge. So it's kind of like this whole nervous system recalibration. And this is the craziness of the nervous system, guys. It really is. This is the craziness of the nervous system. I've got any other, our cat just moved the light fixture. So she skidded out, and then the whole light moved. Anything else to add? Any other stories, personal stories about sabotage that you can self-sabotage that you can immediately?
I mean, just even going into the spiraling into addiction, that was part of self-sabotage too. I mean, I don't even need to bring up stories. I self-sabotage the first 18, 17 years of our relationship.
Yeah.
Just with a myriad of things. It's not even, I can't even, like, those situations stick out as big, but no, I think I was stuck in self-sabotage for years.
Yeah. Too much safety.
Yeah.
Too much security.
Yeah.
Too much love. And Angie used to keep a bag, and we talked about a lot of these things already on this series. She used to keep a bag of blankets in an air thing bag out in our garage in case our heat got turned off. And we're not even
We've been together 27 years, and I grew up with with utilities being gone for months at a time, and not once in our 27 years together have we ever missed a mortgage payment. Has our lights been turned off? Has any utilities been turned off? We've come down to the wire a couple times on paying bills, but something's always come through. So there's the evidence to the contrary that things will always appear, right?
I want to reframe that a little bit.
Okay.
So there's a difference between the resources that we have
Mhm.
and the resources that somebody has and the checking account.
Right.
There's a big difference. Okay. We have a pool of resources.
Yeah.
we've got a nice pool of resources.
Yeah.
But when our bank account gets low, the nervous system starts to trip.
Yes.
Right. And what you're talking about coming close to paying bills, you're talking about talking about the checking account. You're not talking about the resources. We have the resources to pull on. In fact, we have resources invested with other companies and in other financial funds, and we've got money in retirement accounts and IRAs. We got all this money to pull from. We got money in our business savings account or our checking account. We got personal. So it's not like we're lack funds. We're not. There's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. Okay, we are in the United States. We are rich. Yeah. Okay, we live in the richest country in the world. Okay, we live lives that most people around the world can't even fucking fathom. We live in the richest country, and just we've been enough places to see what poverty really looks like. We are rich, okay? But there's a difference between being rich and being wealthy. Right. And we know wealthy people that it's either the $150,000 race car. Do I pay cash or do I just put it on a payment plan, right? Like, can I get an interest rate low enough where it's just free cash? Mm-hmm. That's a whole different level of financial freedom and wealth. There's like money is not even a challenge and they don't even blink at it. That's different than rich. Okay. So we've always had a pool of resources, but we've oftentimes looked at this one checking account. And when it starts to get low, our nervous system starts to and that's self-sabotage. That's self-sabotage. You have enough to be okay. You have enough to feel okay. You have enough to be safe. You have enough to feel safe. But you don't do it because you're wired for something different. And when it goes beyond something that you can handle, your nervous system flares up. Okay. And then your joy and happiness goes away. When our joy and happiness automatically goes away for no reason whatsoever, what is it called? Self-sabotage. Self-sabotage. That's it. When there's no reason for our joy and our happiness and fulfillment and the love in our heart to go away, and it does, that's self-sabotage. And it's prevalent and it's crazy that, as we say, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Okay. And then this is when we get to take ownership over our life instead of start to, or continue to be a victim of our life. Anything to add to that? Because I got a couple stories that I want to share, not about us, but about.
Yeah, no, tell your stories. I think our story was important, and I think the stories you're going to tell are important.
Awesome. Yep. So they're in two different categories, and this first, both of them are. You're going to think I'm an absolute nut job. Okay, for this, not really, but just stick with me here, okay? Because again, once you see self-sabotage, you can't unsee it. Now, the first story is early on in my coaching business, I worked with a gal that was when she was very, very young, and I'm talking about single digits old, 4, 5, 6, 7. She was sexually victimized. Okay, let's say. So let's just call it the V word. She was sexually victimized, right? As a young teenager, she was sexually victimized again. As an older teenager, she was sexually victimized again. She started entering. She was a serial relationship person. She kept entering these sexually abusive relatives. And then she got married to a sexual abuser. And when she went to therapy, and nothing against therapists. Therapists didn't help, right? The therapy didn't help. She started working with me, and I had to read The Big Leap and started talking about self-sabotage. And she was like, "You're out of your mind. I'm not doing this." Nervous system is there to keep you alive. It keeps you alive by keeping you in familiar circumstances. Keeps you in familiar circumstances because it knows how to operate there. It has nothing to do with safety. Okay. She was not in safe relationships, which is why I take exception to that word. And when she finally stopped being a victim of it, stopped pleading victim, victim and took ownership of it. Not that she ever wanted any of that shit to happen.
Right.
It's just she didn't consciously know that her unconscious was
Repeating
pulling
the same patterns.
it was pulling
Yes.
her back into those same situations because that's where it knew how to operate and how to survive.
Well, I think it's important here to throw in that you're not responsible for the trauma that happened to you at all. Like that is from a young age.
You didn't create it.
You didn't create that trauma. You're not responsible for that, but you are certainly responsible for healing that trauma and moving through that trauma.
Yeah. Yep. And when she finally moved from being a victim of it to owning it and see the pattern and recognize that the unconscious part of her not thrived, she wasn't thriving.
No, it's just all she knew.
Yeah, it's all she knew. It's all she was familiar with. And a loving relationship felt dangerous. It felt like she was going to lose it, so I might as well eject.
Yep.
Sound familiar?
Yeah, and that's why I believe that I spent so many years in active addiction, because I grew up with parents and dad and stepmom and as extreme addicts, and that's what I knew. Even though, it was just kept repeating the same patterns because that's where your nervous system knows where to keep you going.
Yep. Then when she moved from victim to owning it, not owning the causes of it, but owning the healing.
Yes.
She stepped out of it. Yeah. She stepped out of her marriage.
She's in a great,
she's doing great.
Yes.
She's doing awesome. Yep. That's one. Yep. So that's self-sabotage all the way. Not because she wanted to be in abusive relationships.
Yes. It's very clear there.
It's because her and this isn't victim shaming. It's because her nervous system unconsciously didn't know how to operate without them.
Yep.
Okay, that's number one. Now, another guy I work with, past tense with. His wife built business together, and they were building it from the ground up, and they were partners in building this thing and building momentum, and they built something beautiful, and they fought together on the business to build the business. And then when they had wealth and success and all the freedom in the world, because they had fought together for so long to build this business, what did they start doing?
Oh, they started fighting and arguing, and
instead of fighting together, they started fighting each other.
Yep.
Because the business was no longer something to fight for.
Yeah.
They didn't have to fight
over. I'm sure that was a piece too. That was the conflict being used to conflict. There was no conflict in the marriage. The conflict in the business is what kept the safety conflict there. And then
so when there was no conflict in the business and they had a thriving business and they built this empire together and it was awesome and they were looked at by everybody very, very like admirably.
Yes, they sure were.
And then what happened?
They got divorced.
They got divorced because you can't possibly have wealth and love. And they had a capacity for love and wealth and joy and fulfillment and freedom, and they exceeded it. And when they exceeded it, they had to blow it up to get back within it.
Yep.
Isn't this, we are a bunch of freaking nut jobs.
Yes, we are.
Both the first story and the second story, they didn't want to do that. No. It's not something they consciously chose. It's they didn't know how not to do it because it was just too good, right? Things were too good. You had to find a way to fuck it up. And this is the unconscious way of living. And that's why we self-sabotage. Anything to add to that?
No. That's, again, it's just ridiculous when you see it.
Once you see it, you can't unsee it.
And it's never going to end. I feel like till the day we die, we're going to find something to self-sabotage on, something.
If we're not familiar of our upper limits. In The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, T. Harv Eker talks specifically about your financial thermostat.
Right. Yes, the set point.
So this is also an element of self-sabotage. T. Harv Eker talks about your financial thermostat. And what it is if you take a look at the last 5 years of your income, okay, and average them out. And that's your financial thermostat. Now,
That's what your nervous system is wired.
that's
to keep
what
moving.
your nervous system is wired for. That's the number, that's your capacity. When I say the capacity of your nervous system. And what happens, just think about a thermostat. If the temperature goes above that, it shuts off until it comes back down.
Yeah.
And if it goes below that, it turns on to come back to it.
Yeah.
And this is why when I got out of corporate, first full year in business, boop.
Right. Because that number was your thermostat.
And in our business, we've always kind of lived around that.
Yeah.
Now, in 2024 and 2025, how far above that number did we go?
Significantly higher.
And now where are we? Back to that number, because our nervous system didn't know how to hold it.
Yep.
Now we got some work to do. We got some work to do, but we're a victim of nothing.
Yep.
We're a victim of nothing, and we can spaz out and freak out or whatever, but guess what? That number is probably going to keep coming until we learn how to hold it. And then once we learn how to hold it, because I think that was a gift from the universe saying, let me show you what you're built for. And then when you overindulge, you're not built for it.
Yeah.
And then when you lose it, okay, now we can rebuild around not just having it, but holding it. Right? Cool.
Let's go.
Yeah. Well, this is awesome. This is a big one, guys. And this is the one that people don't want to acknowledge. No, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
It's not my fault. I didn't do that. They did this. Life did this to me. The government took this or whatever. But it's like, you're just getting back to your set point. That's it. Right. It's beautiful stuff.
Yeah. It's crazy stuff, but it's beautiful. And it is a gift to be able to see it. It really is.
It is. Don't like it.
Don't like it, but it's a gift to see it.
Don't like it. We are the creators of our path, and we are our nervous system has a lot to say about our quality of life. Okay. If you're used to a low quality of life, your nervous system wants you to have it. And if you're used to a high quality of life, your nervous system wants you to have it because it knows how to operate there. All right. Get clear about that one and swallow that pill of truth and understand, take a look at your life and see how self-sabotage is played in, and how every time that you've exceeded that capacity or your limits, you've done something to get back down there unconsciously.
But yeah, but that also takes to be able to see that. It takes getting really brutally honest with yourself and really examining your life and examining your circumstances. And a lot of people don't want to do that because people do. Typically, the majority of people do want to blame their boss as an asshole, or the president's a dick, or the government sucks, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when you finally sit back and be like, wow, holy shit, I did this.
Well, we do know somebody in our life that is a perpetual victim,
Yes.
and they don't know how not to be a victim.
Yeah.
Like everybody is the root cause of everything, and they have no individual responsibility or ownership whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I just posted on Facebook. If you're ever connected with somebody that's a perpetual victim, run, because it's just a matter of time before they make you wrong in some way, before they blame you for everything.
Yep.
All right. I think we did a good job of explaining self-sabotage.
Yeah, I think so too.
Cool. Next week we jump. This is episode 8. Next week we jump into or part 8. Next week we jump into part 9, and it's all about what is a real bond in a relationship. So we're going to take everything that we've kind of walk through, and we're gonna start to bring this thing. We got episode part 9 and part 10 to walk through, and we're gonna bring this thing to a close.
Yeah.
All right. Still having fun?
Still having fun.
Good. Me too. All right. We got a lot to share with you guys. Stick with us. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week again. Love you all.
See ya.